Who you looking for? Intro? Don't you usually start the show and then I come in? Okay, I'm trying to get the angles for this. Grand Rising and good morning, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Zestful Living with Sweet Tea Morning Show. Now, this is where we rise and shine and we start our day on purpose, with purpose, and for the purpose of having a good day and an attitude of gratitude. I am your host, Latanja Millhouse, aka Sweet Tea, your number one hype woman, and also a certified life coach and health coach. And the biggest reminder that today you get another opportunity to live boldly, zestfully, and unapologetically you. Before we get started, let's go ahead and bring our co host in on Mondays. We have Osha Cerese. Welcome, Asha. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Good to see you as we bring in a new celebration. Yay! And so, yes, we were just beginning to sing our song. And so, can you feel it? Can you hear it? Do you see it? And do you know it? It's a brand new day. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? It's a brand new day. And with that, it reminds us to have a good day on purpose. And when you sing that song, it just makes you feel so much better, so much lighter, and uplifted. And so, some of the things that we do, of course, as we prepare for our gratitude journal, we look at some things that can help us begin our day in a zestful way. And so, as it says, this is a gratitude for growth. Now, you have heard these before. We're going to repeat them until we begin again with some new ones, okay? And so, this is think about something that challenged you recently, a hard conversation, a setback, an unexpected change. What is one thing that difficulty taught you about yourself that you could not have learned any other way? Now, this is the sentence for you to finish, the prompt sentence to finish. I am grateful for that struggle because it showed me I am the kind of woman who, or the kind of man who, fill in the blank in terms of this particular gratitude journal prompt. Hi, Dad. Thank you so much and good morning. Thank you so much for being here, Dad, as Dad is watching in from Cali as it is 5 a.m. there in Cali. And so, once again, I am grateful for that struggle because it showed me I am the kind of woman who, or I am the kind of man, fill in the blank. And let's go ahead and do that now as just take a pause to be able to answer this particular question. Okay. All right. And of course, everyone knows that sweet tea don't get personal. But I will share with you all because I am in a sharing mood. So this is the gratitude for growth that we're looking at here for Monday. And it says, think about something that challenged you recently, a hard conversation, a setback, an unexpected change. What is one thing that difficulty taught you about yourself that you could not have learned any other way? And so the prompt question, once again, I am grateful for that struggle because it showed me I am the kind of woman who, and if everyone knows that everything that I had went through with the blood, sweat, tears with the 8-piece collection that I just completed on June 7th. And so, once again, I am grateful for that struggle because it showed me I am the kind of woman who perseveres. And so, as you persevere, you can stand in whatever it is that you're facing and come through successful on the other side. Asha, did you have anything to add for that question?
I'm gonna keep mine private.
You're going to keep yours private. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Okay, so then what we want to be able to do, of course, Asha, is to talk about things that matter for us. And so some of the things that goes on a day-to-day basis, there's a great deal of people that are struggling with their identity in terms of knowing who they are. A loss of identity happens when many of those that are empty nesters that I talk about in this space are finding themselves needing to literally find themselves as to who they are when the children have moved out and gone on to college. A great deal of the mothers are struggling in that area. And so I look at what that looks like in terms of the empty nest syndrome. And so, Asha, do you recall what happened when you moved moved out on your own? How did it make you feel when you moved out on your own? Did you feel liberated?
Oh yeah, I did. I felt I was excited because it was something that I had been wanting to do for a while. I had been wanting to move on my own. That was something I was looking forward to. Not thinking about the bills and the responsibility. And back then, I wish the rent could be the same as it was back then, but at the time it was a big responsibility for 18-year-old me. Um, but I was excited about it. I moved out. I found a place that was really far away from everybody. Of course, now people have a little ventured out in the family to move in that area, but before that, nobody in the family had lived in that area. It was pretty new for us. It was a luxury new build place. I think it was only like a year and a half old. And I found an apartment that was like kind of like they was doing a promo, so it was like $585.
Oh, how cute is
For
that?
a 1-bedroom luxury apartment in a
Wow.
really nice neighborhood, and I was doing well for myself. I had already saved. I had saved up a lot of money, not a lot, but enough money to move. I believe back then, layaways was popping, so I'd already had my furniture on layaway. So when I moved in, I was able to get my furniture out on layaway. Um, and I was doing well. I had a job and I think I was in school. Yeah, I was in school at the time. I hadn't started nursing school quite yet, but I was doing my pre-nursing and was doing well. And then I think I got laid off. Not laid off. I got fired. Probably like a month into living in my first apartment, so I had to figure things out because it was a big snowstorm that happened, a big blizzard, and I tried to drive to work in the blizzard, and the blizzard, the visibility was terrible. The roads were icy. People couldn't stop at the red lights. They were slipping and sliding. Once I got to the first red light and saw how it was going on, I turned around and went home. And I called in, and my supervisor was like, "We need you to be at work." And I'm like, "The roads are too bad. I'm not gonna be able to come." She was like, "We could send somebody to come get you. I'm not driving in the car with anybody behind the wheel." So she said, "If you don't come to work, we will consider this your resignation." And I said, "All right." I got on the phone, took my clothes off, and got in the bed. And I didn't worry about it at that point, but then I had to figure it out.
And it's almost as if people are not wanting you to value your life, when it comes to safety first.
Yeah,
And
people got snowed in for days.
yes, that was a serious snowstorm, even though, in terms of, I'm not certain if there's any kind of oath that you take as a servant person in the nursing field, because again, if it is a call to duty, if it is that they are missing workers and missing those that are in position to care for other people, as nurses do. However, what happens when there is a snowstorm that has caused a lot of people traffic jams, as we've seen here in Atlanta in the early part of the time that we arrived, I believe is sometime in the early 2000s, perhaps.
Well, you moved here 20. You moved in
Okay, so
February 2014.
okay, so it must have been 2016 or something like that when there was a blizzard and they didn't have the equipment.
That was 2013. Before we
2013,
both moved
before we both moved
here.
here. Okay, so there was a snowstorm and a blizzard here in Atlanta. You can call it a blizzard, but it had a traffic jam, so they weren't prepared with the proper road care in order to ice was on the roads, and so they didn't have the proper uh, tactics in order to handle the snowstorm. So for you in Colorado, where all of this can happen in terms of knowing how to clear the roads, it was still one of those things that you had to decide. I need to survive this snowstorm, and whoever is already there at the facility can handle the load, right?
Absolutely. And I wasn't a nurse yet. I was a caregiver. So whoever was there was just there. And that person that was threatening me and telling me I needed to be there, you have to get on the floor, ma'am. Whenever your staff can't get there, you got to get in the field. So that's what they really be avoiding is them doing the work to pick up some of the, the load when people can't get in. If it's dangerous, it's dangerous.
It's dangerous, and so that's a good call, Asha, and I admire Asha your decision making. It's always thorough in terms of how you can see the bigger picture and you look at everything. And for many women, as it is the empty nest syndrome, as you said, you felt good in terms of moving on your own. It was something that you were prepared for. Me personally, as my brother would say, me myself.
Fast.
Slow down. Am I? I just thought I'm just talking normal.
No, you are talking
Me
fast.
myself personally, as my brother would say, I didn't have any kind of feeling in terms of losing my identity, in terms of not feeling good about you taking on this new adventure and this new experience and this new journey of being your own person.
Mhm.
But as it is, the empty nest syndrome, and as it's called, renesting, is the emotional experience many parents, especially mothers, go through when their children leave home. And it's not a clinical diagnosis, as it says, but a real, valid emotional transition that can bring feelings of, and this is what we're talking about, the loss of identity. For many mothers and parents, after years of being a caregiver, it can be difficult to rediscover who you are outside of motherhood or perhaps outside of fatherhood, outside of mentorship, whatever position you may find yourself in, caring about other people. Just take them on.
Which is why it's important to maintain some sense of individuality in life. And I know people don't necessarily experience emptiness syndrome when it comes to relationships, but like the same way I'm seeing like a pattern as far as the same way people are when it comes to having children. It's the same way people get when they're in relationships. It's like you completely lose your individual identity and just merge into this new dynamic, and your whole life is no longer me, I, it's we, us. And you're not really pouring into or nurturing your own needs and your own passions and hobbies and other friendships and relationships that you have outside of this dynamic. So what happens if you break up, or what happens if your partner, passes away, or whatever could possibly happen to make it so that you're without them, you're completely lost. On top of the heartbreak, you are absolutely lost on who you are. So it's something that everybody has to maintain a sense of self, regardless of the dynamic. And I know it's hard to balance that, even with a partner, let alone having children, and your identity does shift once you become a parent. Um, but as much as you can, you got to figure out how to maintain your own identity in every role.
I agree with you there, Ashi, because many people lose themselves in relationships, as you pointed out, that you don't know, as you would say, who am I? Where am I? You don't have any idea who you are. Because again, everything is surrounded around the title that you have and the role that you're in. As I have available for you in my stand store, 5 signs you lost yourself in your roles and how to reclaim you. It's a real thing that many women and mothers do not know, I should say, who they are outside of motherhood, outside of being in a relationship. you lose yourself, and it's a real thing. I don't know how much more to express about it because you have not developed that part of you, as you're pointing out, Asha. You need to get yourself some business, as we talk about often. Find you something to do with your time, and that's what this empty nest syndrome is saying. You need to find yourself again.
Well, speaking of that, I was just sitting here before you got into some topics, itching because I'm bit up. I have mosquito bites everywhere. And I was just thinking about, you know, the things that we have to do when we don't have partners
Mm-hmm.
that I'd rather not do because it's not my ministry. Because yesterday I was cutting the grass in the backyard. And I know that there's a debate on whether or not, you know, women should be doing those type of things. For me, myself personally, as my uncle Leonard would say, that's just not my ministry. Even though, you're trying to save money in this economy, the kids don't come knock on the door anymore asking if you need your grass cut. It's grown men that want money, and it's just a lot trying to maintain certain things. And I always say, cutting grass and those type of things, I feel like are man jobs. It's not my ministry. But some women feel like that's what you got to do, be self sufficient. That's just a part of it. Some women enjoy cutting the grass. But that's just one of those tasks that I personally do not enjoy. What are your thoughts on grass cutting? Women cutting grass.
It seems to be that it is something that needs to be done, has to be done, and in terms of who's going to do it, I guess is the big question. And so I have not necessarily done any cutting grass. I did it a couple of times before, and I felt as if it is man duty. It is a man's job. Now, come on now, fellas, you guys gonna have to do something, okay? And so it's just certain things that just does not fit for little women to do. In some cases, depends on how much grass. Now, was that a lot of grass for you to cut?
I don't even think it was the grass part. I think it came down to it's not that much, but
Right.
it's like you gotta cut, you gotta get in the corners. I don't know how to use the weed whacker
Right.
trimmer thingy, so I'm trying to get into the corners. I'm having to cut vines that have grown.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I like the yard work. I like doing is gardening. Getting in the soil, planting vegetables and fruits and flowers and watering them. That's my limit where it comes to yard work. All that other stuff is not. That's not my ministry.
I feel you on that, and then not to mention the bug attack.
Yeah,
okay.
You see that?
Oh yes, oh yes, and then the heat. Of course, we all love the sun and we love the heat, and it has natural principles. But when it comes to bugs bugging you in the heat, and of course, you're doing yard work, yard labor. And so kudos to the fellas that does the yard work. We appreciate you all very much, especially those that do it and don't complain, those that do it and not look for anything. Okay, thank you. It's just one of those things that we all help in. And so that's something that we all can find a great way of being able to appreciate people in your life when they do those kinds of things. Because again, I don't agree with it either. I do know that some women feel as if it's something that needs to be done and there is no one else around.
I'd rather pay someone to do it, but trying to save money. We have a lawnmower. I'm like, let me just get out there and do it. But that's one of those tasks that I'd rather just pay somebody to do it if a man in my life is not available to do. What are there any other are there any other tasks or chores that you prefer a man to do or prefer to pay somebody to do?
Well, I can tell you this with the automobile, any kind of thing that needs to be done with a car, please don't tell me anything about whatever going on with the transmission. Okay, I have had some horror stories because it seems as if when men see women coming into these mechanic shops, oh, we got one now, baby. And they had me going to where I had been broken down when it comes to disappointment. You go in for one thing and then they have to do this kind of a reading, what do they call it? A
Diagnostic.
diagnostic. And if you give them a clue, and see, this is what I've learned, don't go in telling them what you think is wrong. The diagnostic is supposed to be able to tell you what is actually wrong with the item, with the vehicle. But because you went in there telling them what you think it is, and then they do a diagnostic, which is a whole together different ripoff. That's about $100, $99 ripoff if you go in there telling them what you think it is. Because you can go in there telling them what you think it is, and then they'll say, that's not the problem at all. They have no idea what it is.
Because
It's a scam.
they create the problem. They in the back with the hammer hitting stuff. But
yeah, so please don't give me anything about a dang on car. I wanted to say a damn car.
Say it.
Don't tell me nothing about what's going on with these damn cars. I don't want to hear it.
I think that that's one of those things where it's best to have a man with you, right? To have a man with you, or to let the man handle it, period. And it's unfortunate if you don't have a man available in your life to do those things, because yes, they are going to rip you off. Going to purchase a car. I remember I always tell the story from me. I had my cousin David um, come up to the dealership with me when I bought the last car that I bought in Colorado before I moved, and he was there. His presence alone, they didn't try to, do too much, and then he also negotiated it down for me. Something that I wouldn't have known to do, because I remember going to get a car, probably the car prior to that one, and I went to the dealership by myself, and they're so quick and swift with their tactics. As soon as you get on the lot, they walking you through, giving you a tour. Oh, let's test drive something. They test drive, and next thing I knew, I had a car I didn't even ask to have. I just test drove it, and next thing you know, I had it. I didn't like the car. I didn't know nothing about it. I just knew that I was there, and I left with a car. And my ex at the time, he was away, and he told me, take that car back to them and don't leave without them taking it back. I think I ended up losing the deposit that I put down on it or something.
Why did you have to take it back?
It just wasn't the kind of car that I wanted, and it was like I felt bamboozled by the whole process, and I was alone. So, and then I noticed that even when it comes to like repairs, like you say, or just needing things, it's always an upcharge or a whole list of things that don't necessarily even need to be done. And I remember one time I went, I don't know what I went for. I think it was something to prepare me for my admissions test.
Okay, I was just.
And when I first went in, I he told me that he was gonna charge me all this money to do something, and I was like, I walked out. But the difference was that day I was looking very pretty. I had my makeup done, hair done, I had a pretty dress on, and I smelled good, and I was looking feminine, and I was in my feminine energy. After he told me whatever he told me, and I walked out. Next thing I know, he ran after me to tell me, just go to AutoZone or O'Reilly's or something and get this emission test fluid and put it in your tank and drive it around for however long, and you'll be able to pass your emissions test.
Wow.
I feel like if I came in looking rough, he would have not given me that tip. But for the fact that I, was in my feminine energy, smelling good, looking good, he gave me that tip, and I was able to pass my emissions test. But if I hadn't got that, I would have had to pay an arm and a leg trying to get it done.
And so it seems as if there are some hidden gems that many are not wanting to share, as it is with some women, that because again, once the man sees you coming into a mechanic shop, oh, we got one now, baby. And they had your girl going a couple of times, and I was exhausted because you couldn't throw enough money at them because they were not intending to fix the problem. As one of them told me, you need a brand new engine. And I needed the vehicle. And so it's one of those things also, I believe what happens is you get attached. You are accustomed to something being in your life, whether that's a car, a relationship, or whatever the case, and you become attached to the thing. Had I had just let it go, that would have been $3,000 to $4,000 I could have saved myself a headache and had just gotten a brand new car in some cases. But yes, the mechanics, the salesmen, do not go into a car salesman dealership on your own. Okay? Because they got something for you, ladies. Now, if you are aware of what it is, and of course, we're not saying that all ladies are unaware of what happens because there are some women mechanics out there. And so, equip yourself with the knowledge, educate yourself with how things are, and know that this particular salesperson is getting ready to get you, baby. They're getting ready to get you, baby.
Yeah. And then there's some tasks, as a damsel in distress, that someone tries to come. What?
No, just
Someone tries to come to
rescue.
support you or rescue you, and then it comes along with some other stuff that you don't necessarily want to deal with. Because I remember going to the DMV or whatever and to replace my tags, and I've never had to physically replace my license plate.
Oh my goodness.
Either my dad has done it or whatever the man is in my life had done it. And so this was my first time going to get a new license plate, and I'm like, I don't know how to replace this thing. I don't have the proper screwdriver or anything to do it, so I'm just out there in the parking lot looking crazy. I had a screwdriver in the car, but it wasn't the right size. And so this older man had came and he saw me struggling. He was like, "Oh, let me." Well, actually, I guess the screwdriver did work because I think he said, "Let me borrow yours to do mine, and then I could do yours." Okay. And I was like, "Okay." So he did that, and I'm thinking, "Okay, awesome, thank you." Honey, by the time I got in I think I don't know if I sat in the car while he did it or I went to go sit in there after he got done and waited for the screwdriver. Here he go asking for my number. And so I felt obliged. Is that the right word? Yes. I felt obligated. And I went on ahead and obliged him. Yeah. And I wasn't even really interested, but just do it and kick rocks.
Yeah, it shouldn't have to come with anything extra that, of course, if you're just wanting to help out a damsel in distress, as you call it. And some of the things that happens, even from what I'm hearing, women that go, I'm talking fast here, women that go to the nightclubs or whatever the case, and I like my sister's opening line, if a man wants to buy her a drink and the waitress comes over, she tells the waitress to go back to him and ask him, does this drink come with a conversation? Because some people, and back in the day, and I don't know if this is something that still goes on, they buy you a drink, baby, they own you for the night. That's 4 or 5 dances. Yeah. Guaranteed. Okay, they have bought their position to be able to have your time for that night. And one of the things that happens that I'm noticing for some of the fellas, that it's a tough time when you have to come up to a woman, perhaps she's sitting at the table with 5 or 6 of her friends, and you go there to select a specific woman that you're interested in. And it seems as if, and I don't know how you all feel, that the whole entire club is watching. And and they're watching to see the reaction that she is going to tell this player, this fella. And so he comes up and asks, and of course she declines and she rejects him. And so I don't know if that's a long walk to wherever he has to go back to, but that is not a good feeling. I don't know if you've ever tried that.
I just had 2 thoughts that came to my mind. I feel like I was with my same homegirl. Was this the same night? I think this was 2 different nights, but I was with the same group of women. And the one night I'm thinking of, we went out and he was like an Indian guy. Was he Indian? I think so. He was lingering around. He asked me if he could buy me a drink. And I was like, okay. First of all, he grabbed my hand to hold my hand to walk to the bar to get it. Oh, I don't want to hold your hand, but I just was like, okay, I'll let him do what he do. And then he got the drink, and I kind of tried to dismiss him, like, talk to him for a little while, like, oh, thank you, da da da. I'm about to go hang out with my friends, and then he was just kind of still lingering. I think he asked for my number, I gave it to him, and he was kind of just still lingering, and he was just acting so awkward and weird and strange, like you could just see him right next to us as we were dancing because he made it seem like he was getting ready to leave for the night, but he was just like still lingering. And I'm thinking like, go ahead on, because just because you bought me a drink does not mean we about to be linked up all night.
That's what it is, sweetie.
So there was that situation.
Mm-hmm.
There was another situation, the same group of homegirls, different night. We went to a Caribbean spot.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, at the Caribbean spot, everybody is whining and dancing and stuff. So I had danced with this guy. And we had chemistry on the dance floor as far as the dance, but right. I'm not studying you like that. Next thing I know, after we dance about 10 minutes later, he comes walking up to me with 2 drinks, one for him and one for me.
Heavens,
across the whole dance floor, and we're right up under the DJ booth, so the whole club is watching. And I'm like, I didn't see you go get that. I didn't ask for that. I don't know what you got. I don't even know if I feel like drinking right now. And I was like, oh no, thank you. And he was like, come on, like trying to feel like he was trying to give me something, a kind gesture, and so that we could be kicking it for the rest of the night. And I knew my homegirls were gonna decline the drink too, so I was like, does anybody want this drink? And they was like, no, thank you. I'm like, sorry, we don't want it. And like, why are you going to get a drink without first of all asking me what kind of drink I want, and then without me being there to see it? I don't know you.
That's one of the things that I hear, something that, a mother is pleading with everyone after her young middle school child had taken on some of these, I believe it's something that they smoke, and that
like a vape?
Like a vape or something like that, and he had a very severe reaction and was in the hospital and everything like that. So you need to prepare your children, your preteens, your teenagers, and even some of your older children about some of the things that happens. People aren't there that you can trust. You know, they don't have your best interest at heart. They will trick you and fool you and manipulate you to take something. And that is a very smart move, Asha. If you don't see someone, actually the bartender pouring the drink, or actually you're there in front of the bartender, as someone offered me a drink, I had a beam eye on the bartender because I could see it. Because he asked me if I wanted a drink. He says, after I buy you a drink, I want to dance. And so I was watching every move. And so you have to keep your eye on
and you gotta even be careful with that, because they could put something in it while you're watching, and you wouldn't even barely be able to pay attention to see.
Yeah, it's a serious thing. And, you know, we hear about date rape and all of these kinds of things that people will slip. I don't know if they used to call it a Mickey. They slip something in your drink. Roofie? A what?
Roofie.
A roofie.
I don't know. Maybe it's called Mickey back in your day. I don't know.
I'm just saying, be careful out there, ladies. Excuse me. And if a person has to go through those levels to have something that doesn't belong to them, be careful. Are we ready for the hot topics, Asha?
Sure. Wow, I should have been picking some.
Let's see what we got. We can pick out some hot topics. And in this particular time, you can let your comments be known if you want to participate. Just write them in the comment section.
I don't want to be fan.
Okay.
Fan that way.
Just put them in the comment section, please.
Should women still submit in relationships? Does submission have a place in modern dating? I will say that I think it's always been, well, for me personally, I'm gonna just speak for myself. I tend to be a submissive woman for the most part, but I'm not no damn fool. So I have to know who I'm submitting to and what's the program? Like what are you, how are you leading me? And I'm noticing that some of these men these days are not really even possessing leadership skills. So it's kind of hard to submit when you don't even know what direction you going in as an individual, let alone us together in a relationship. They're lacking vision and confidence to properly lead. And so I would love to submit, but do you have the ability to lead is the question. So I think with a great leader, and leading doesn't mean controlling or doesn't mean minimizing my thoughts or not taking my wishes into consideration, or having me doing something that I don't want to do. Um, but if you don't have a direction for yourself, then it's kind of hard to submit to that, and you kind of end up in a position of leadership because the other person is not able to do it. So I think there's a place for it, but it has to be for the right person.
I would agree that, excuse me, let me clear my throat, that the, what are we submitting to? Now, I believe that being submissive, it takes a great deal of cooperation. And in my book, I have The Lady Academy, a guiding interactive journal of becoming a lady. I have submissive techniques as one of the topics. Now, I will read a few of these because, again, it is something that you can take for yourself in terms of what fits for you. And it says, oftentimes we think of being submissive as giving in to someone else's commands. It's more about being cooperative in order to complete a task or move on from any given situation. And it has, here are a few things we can do to make matters better with the man in our lives. And I would just add this one because a lot of them can be interesting here. Ladies, this is extremely important. Have your own interests, hobbies, talents, passions, and or desires. It turns a man on to know his lady is about her business. Men become less interested if a woman is into them without having their own business plan or ideas. It's all about self discovery and finding what brings you happiness. And so that way, everyone has something that they're involved in. And as I pointed out from the book, that getting something done, you would need to be able to pivot a little bit, shift a little bit in order to have something done. And it's not about a command that someone is making. It depends on, because the question is talking about dating. And so it just depends on how far in the dating are you in. Should women still submit in a relationship? Does submission have a place in modern dating? So you're just really getting to know someone. So how much do they want you to submit to? And of course, it all depends on how well you know your partner, your significant other, your boo thing, your spouse, or whomever you're calling them these days. Okay. And so you can submit to someone because, again, it's about cooperating. Now, who's going to be able to stand toe to toe without anything getting done? All right. So I believe it's all about cooperating.
Greetings, and someone over here on TikTok asked, "Is this a dating show?" They say they're single and ready to mingle. This is Zestful Living with Sweet Tea morning show featuring Osha Cerese on Mondays, and we talk about
Life, relationships, love, and everything in terms of these hot topics that we're involved in. And so, Asha, I believe this is an opportunity for you to tell them about a single mixer that you have up with the Cowboy Cupid.
absolutely. So yes, I do support singles who are ready to mingle. I'm not sure what city you're in, but I have the Intentional Love Collective. So if you go to Osha Cerise on any platform, OSHACERESE, that's OSHACERESE, and check the link in my bio. You can add yourself to my database for singles so that I can always make sure you're informed about our events. I can do some matchmaking with you if I have a single who matches your preferences, desires, and values. And also, I have some tools for single people as well. Our next event in Atlanta is Cowboy Cupid MVP Meet, Vibe, and Play. It is going to be on July 10th, 10 p.m. at Varner's in Smyrna. So come out and join us.
And there you have it. Excuse me. Do we have
Before I
another?
go to the next one?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, are we losing our sense of community? Do we still look out for each other the way the past generation did?
Absolutely not. And so, one of the things that happens when I recall living in Denver with the Dr. Daddio. He used to talk about unity in the community because it was needed, it was necessary, and it was vital. Because at some point in time, I believe we as a culture, or us as a culture of people, have missed the idea of working together. Even if you look at it takes a village, some people don't want you saying a damn thing to their children. And as my personality is, I normally don't. Many of the children are running up to me because they want my attention. Sweet Tea knows how to not necessarily ignore you, but if it's one of those things that a parent is not wanting you to say anything to their children, I can oblige you in that. And so when it comes to the unity of it takes a village, that's gone. When it comes to unity in the community, we don't have any particular causes that we're fighting for as if they did in the as when they did in the 60s during the civil rights movement. There were plenty of things that we had to fight for and to stand on. And it seems like people are losing that. I know that there's a few things going on currently that people are wanting to unite and protest. And of course, they are not wanting to shop in various locations because of some things that has gone on. And so, yes, it can be unity, but as far as it being that way as a collective, I believe people are too much invested in being self centered, being selfish, and also not being concerned about their fellow man. So they lose the sense of what community is all about, in my opinion.
Mm. I think that we do have people who value community still these days. I think when it comes to raising children, we're kind of finding our way back to it with mentorship and you know allowing people to support you with raising your children as far as disciplining, not putting your hands on nobody else's kids, but pouring into them, calling them out, talking to the parents if something goes wrong. I think that there's some people that are geared, leaning more towards that, seeing that it's needed. Um, and then speaking of Cowboy Cupid, there that's what our mission is, to build community. It's not just about singles and mixing and mingling. It's also about building community, meeting new people. Because I think with the pandemic, it kind of got everybody so used to being at home and being in quarantine that we've lost the idea of connecting with others in person. So building community in those ways. There's run clubs. There's different events that are going on that are helping people to build community and get to know each other and make new friends as adults and get out here and give back and pour back in and doing. Another friend of mine, Athena, she does clothing swaps. So instead of like spending so much money and feeding capitalism and shopping for things that you don't necessarily even need, getting together as a community or a sisterhood, having sister circles, and like, oh, this is something that I no longer wear anymore. Just putting it in the pot, and somebody else put something in the pot. The last time I went to one of her events, I got a brand new purse. I got a couple of purses. I gave away some shoes that didn't necessarily resonate with me, but someone else could fit my shoes, and they got them for church. So there's other ways of community. There's men groups, hiking. I know TJ, my best friend, he was trying to put together like a hiking group for men when he was, living, and he was really wanting to build community with men and getting them into healing and hiking and stuff. So people are trying to build community. It's just, it looks different now. I'll say that.
And I can go along with the fact of it being in a small group setting. And as it says, charity begins at home. Some of the things that you may see in your own families, you can start there to unite, as community is all about communion and unity, as it is communication and unity. And so you can begin at home to see if there's anyone that perhaps needs your time and attention and some recognition in terms of some of the things that we do within our own families. And so let's start there, as it says, charity begins at home.
Yeah. Um, the alpha male versus soft man debate. What type of masculinity do women really want?
Well, we just talked about mowing the lawn. We just talked about someone being able to take care of the car as it, whatever it is that it needs. And so the masculinity that is needed is someone that actually knows what to do in all aspects, that you don't need any explanation, you don't need any instructions, you just handle the thing. Okay? And so many women are fed up and tired of being able to do the things because, again, as you pointed out, Pasha, at one particular time, a lot of this stuff is adulting. Who's going to take care of you? I was going to say, who's going to take care of your black ass? Who's going to take care of you? Okay? Somebody has to make sure that your needs are met. Now, what's wrong with you? Okay? And so the masculinity that we're looking for in many cases is someone to handle business without necessarily being asked to do anything.
So dramatic. I like, personally, I think men need to have a nice balance. Heavy on the masculinity. Like the alpha male, rah rah, being aggressive and being all macho. Okay. But when do you know how to turn that on and turn it off? Like, I want them to lean into their masculinity when it comes to leadership and um, protection and provision and all of those things, being able to handle business, being able to make decisions, all of those qualities are really nice. But I do want some softness as well. I want you to be gentle with me. Support Connection. I want you to be gentle with me. I want you to be kind to everyone. Not necessarily, you ain't got to be friendly per se out in everybody's face, but social, you know, kind, generous, being able to hold space for me when I need a soft place to land, or and not too soft, but a place where I could talk, where I could feel nurtured sometimes too. Because women, we nurture all the time, but we need to feel nurtured as well from our partners. So I think that a man that has balance when it comes to that, like, you're not hard and tough and rough and macho all the time. When it's needed for you to be a little bit more gentle and but definitely handle it. Make decisions, be able to just handle business. Be Definitely handle your own business, but if I need some support as well, being able to be there for me as well. But yeah, being able to tap into that gentleness as well.
So the men need to tap into the feminine side a little bit as well, as there's a balance between the two. And then we know that many women are saying that the men are emotionally unavailable. As we were watching the one of the dating shows, I don't have to necessarily say the name of it, and the fella kept saying that he's not emotionally intelligent. I mean, it sounds as if that he was putting himself down, but in terms of being able to listen to us women, I'm not certain if men recognize that in communication there's someone that speaks, then someone listens, and then someone reiterates what they've heard. But for the most part, when they say that a man is emotionally unavailable, ladies, perhaps he's just exhausted. He just got off of work dealing with a great deal of bosses that has been micromanaging him all day long. Now, the last thing that he wants to do is to come home and hear a bunch of things that has gone on in your world. I think they call it nagging. So when they have the man cave, they want to go in it and be left alone. And as many women, and I talk about that here on the show, has a she shed. She goes in her she shed and does what she wants to do also. Now, there's something about having space in these relationships as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, my mother has told me that you're not conjoined Siamese twins, joined at the hip. There's certain things that you need to do for yourself, and many men, from what I'm hearing, wants us ladies to get out of their face and find us something to do.
Bye. Shit. Want you to get out of my face too.
Okay.
But there was something that you just said that made me think of yeah. Oh, as far as the man, I feel that is great that he was self-aware enough to say that he wasn't emotionally intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
But why are you here? Because I feel like if you recognize that you're not emotionally intelligent, go work on that before you
Yeah.
trying to have a relationship, because emotional intelligence governs a lot of different things. I think self-awareness is actually one of them. So he is self-aware, but empathy, um, social appropriateness, like knowing how to act, like there's a time and a place for everything. Um, being um, having the ability to communicate well, conflict resolution, all of these things that are involved with emotional intelligence are needed for a relationship. So I don't even think that he needs to be on a dating show if he's not feeling confident in that area. It's just you about to be a headache. Why are you? I'm glad that you know that about yourself, but why are you here? Go work on
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
What is the one thing you wish the world understood about the Black female experience that never gets talked about honestly?
I believe that there's something about carrying the world on your shoulders as an atlas. I remember this image of someone carrying the world, literally as a painting or picture. And I believe for many Black women, they feel as if the world is on their shoulders. Not only do you have the children, your spouse, your significant other, your boo thing, or whatever you're calling them, your person, you also have your workload. And so there's a great deal of things that goes along with being just a Black woman. As many say that I am a strong Black woman. And if you add the independent piece to it, sweetie, you're doing too much. Okay? We're not carrying around the banner as if, again, many women say that they are independent, they don't need a man, they want one. Well, many men may want to feel needed in many cases. And so I think that's some of the things that is happening with the Black woman. She feels as if that she has to carry the load for everyone else. And that's where I come in when I come here and talk about this particular things that I share about making sure and making certain that you prioritize yourself first.
Mhm. I think definitely that, having the world on our shoulders, but also I think something that doesn't get talked about enough is that um, oftentimes what's thought of as like angry Black women, like the independent Black woman, and then there's the angry Black woman
Mm-hmm.
label. Sometimes that anger or what that attitude or aggression that people feel like they're receiving is depression and anxiety. And a lot of women are going through things, which is a great segue into one of the other questions: why are mental health conversations still whispered in our communities? A lot of people don't want to talk about that they're struggling or suffering with depression and anxiety, and maybe they don't even know it because they haven't been diagnosed, or they don't recognize that they're going through these actual symptoms, and it's coming off as irritability and aggression and excuse me, anger. And it's not even that. It's not that they're not mad, they're not ticked off, they're not trying to, have an attitude. It's just that they're stressed out, or they're depressed, or they're anxious, and it's just coming out off that way. So, give people grace. Thank you. Someone says we're so pretty on TikTok, and someone else said facts when it came to the independent, strong Black woman conversation.
And so, yes, what is the one thing that you wish the world understood about the Black female experience that never gets talked about honestly? And it seems as if there's a lot of weight on a Black female experience about having to protect our own selves from whatever dangers is around. As they say that the Black woman is the least protected in this nation. And so, how do you defend yourself against everything that comes against you? And then you find perhaps that you may be with someone that is also competing with you, that is also jealous of you. So, where do you find the comfort and the safe space to be able to just exist, to just be, and to be safe in those kinds of environments that we get? Because in many cases, as you're being labeled as a strong black independent woman and you don't need a man for anything, that you can do it all yourself, so they think. And so if you got to continue to carry that image and carry that role and carry that title, people are looking at you as if you can do it all. But when they see that you're weakened, when they see that you've had enough, they're wondering, well, I wonder what's going on with her. She's trying to withhold an image that does not belong to her. Now, who told you all that we're going to sit here and carry it all? Not one. I am not going to do it. What you're not going to do is put a title and tag me with a label and expect for me to carry it and continue to hold it up. No, baby. You can release it from me. I will release it from me. This is not something that I will continue to do and that I will hold the banner for. Okay? We all can have a sense of self worth without carrying the world on our shoulders.
Absolutely.
And as far as, excuse me, the mental health conversation is something that is needed just as much as you take care of your physical body. As you go to a gym, you exercise, you have your spiritual well being. Perhaps you're listening to a sermon or you're meditating. There's certain things that we have to do, and the mental health is a part of it.
And the specific question, why are mental health conversations still whispered in our community? I think, sometimes people are so overly religious that they feel like, oh, just pray it away, or just, you know, that's the devil, blaming everything on the devil, and not really wanting to address the issue at hand. Back in the day, everybody had somebody that they might label crazy or special or whatever. That it's just kind of, you just in the back room, or they're just put away and nobody's actually addressing the elephant in the room. Um, and I think, you know, oftentimes people have a lot of shame when it comes to mental health. And I don't think there's anything to be shamed about. I know I have maybe, gone through some things or experienced some things. And then when I talk about it, it's like, oh, don't claim that. I'm not claiming it as if I want to speak it into my life. I'm naming it because I recognize that this is something that I'm struggling with, and I want to be able to talk about it out loud without being silenced or shamed or ridiculed for being aware that I might be struggling with something. And I think that that's one of the problems, like the shame and the being uneducated about it, the shame, the overly overly religious antidote for mental health issues. Like sometimes you need more than a prayer. Like prayer without works is dead. So sometimes you need someone to talk to. Some people might need medication because there may be an actual chemical imbalance. Some people may need other healing modalities, and that's okay, because having a mental health issue is really difficult and it affects every other aspect of your life. Some people might just need to go work out, exercise, meditate. There's all type of different ways to support your mental health. But if every time you bring it up, somebody's saying, "Oh, don't claim that," or "Oh, just you just need God, you just need like that's the issue."
And I believe that you're absolutely correct on everything that you just said. And it's something that is whispered because no one wants to recognize the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, as Michael Jackson has alluded to. And so we want to be able to recognize what's happening within ourselves so that we can stop it right there. But you have to be aware that it's going on and don't feel shame about anything that you need to heal yourself from because it happens every single day. Depression is a real thing and it's something that happens every day. As you pointed out, it may be a chemical imbalance. There's a spectrum to everything as we're looking at autism and some of the things that children and people are really dealing with. And they can cure themselves from it if they catch it early. I believe that Toni Braxton has caught her son's autism at a certain level in time. And so it's something that we have to pay attention to. Don't be ashamed of it. As Taraji B. Henson is also has a platform for the mental health services in our community. As many black men I know firsthand that a great deal of black men that you may find in your own families run away from anything when we talk about therapy, run away with anything when we're talking about talk therapy or counseling and things of that nature. You're just needing to make sure that whatever it is that you have dealt with or don't want to deal with, childhood trauma, some of the things that you've gone through that you may have some shame about in your life. As I have done the spiritual warrior training that it looks at the shadow work, some of the things that has happened in my life that I face it. And so this is something that is a serious topic. Asha, perhaps we can continue to talk about this on next
because
Monday.
this is Men's Mental Health Month.
It is Men's Mental Health Month. Oh, I didn't know that. And so it's very important, fellas, and there is nothing to be ashamed about because your entire family is rooting for you. And we're here for you as you are here for us as well. And so, Asha, thank you so much. As Mondays is Ma and me, and we still have to come up with a song.
We're working on it.
And so we are at the top of the hour, Asha, as we begin to start our day and begin our day, as I would say, in a zestful way. How can they reach you, Asha, and connect with you with some of the awesome things that you have to offer?
Thank you. So again, every platform, Osha Cerese, that's OSHACERESE, and my stand store where you can get tools for heartbreak, for overcoming imposter syndrome, for just wanting some support to talk. If you need some support to strategize and plan your content, if you need support on your healing journey, definitely see me at stan, STAN, store, STORE, / Osha Cerese, that's OSHACERESE. Hey, Miss Mosi, good to see you. Thank you for joining.
Oh, Miss Mosi. Oh, thank you.
So yes, that's where you can find me, Osha Cerese on all platforms, link in the bio. And if you are single and wanting to mingle and you're in the Atlanta area, join us July 10th at Barners. You can also purchase tickets at the link in my bio.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And so I would always say give yourself some grace today and have a good day on purpose. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Dad, for watching. And we'll talk soon. Have a good day on purpose and give yourself some grace today. See you later.
See ya. Yes, Miss Mosi, we're my mom goes live every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. and I join her on Mondays now. So it's 8 a.m. and we wrap it up after an hour. So thank you for joining. Good to see you, miss you, and we'll talk soon. Hopefully you can catch her every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. and I'll be here on Mondays.
Yes, and thank you all so much for the likes and loves. I appreciate it very much. Thank you all so much for being here. We certainly do appreciate the likes and loves and all of the time that you spent taking time out of your busy morning to be with us. Thank you so much and have a good day on purpose.
Talk to you later.
So, let's see.
And we're over here on YouTube. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back live next Monday, and I'll see y'all on the next one.
See you later.